I'm going to go, this is like a size 9 by 12 kind of piece of paper. I'm going to take my hand on the left side of this piece of paper, and that's the size that I'm going to use. I want to draw a circle about the size of my hand on the left side of my paper. So I'm going to use that trick that I learned before, where I rotate the paper. So I'm going to use my knuckle, and I'm going to place it against the paper. I'm going to hold my pencil, and I'm going to rotate my paper around that point. You can draw a circle however you want. Oh, my paper just moved. But I want you to draw a circle that's about the size of your hand. On the left side of your paper, you're drawing a circle that's about the size of your hand. So I put my hand in there. That's about the size I want. See how big it is? That's the size I want your circle to be as well. I'm going to go ahead and make mine darker now so you can see it better. I'm just on note paper, yeah. Whatever paper you want to use for notes. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do with this paper, next time you get the iPad, I'm going to ask you to take a picture of your notes and upload them to your folder. The ones you're doing right now, you're going to end up uploading these notes into your folder. So the circle I've made, if I relate it to my hand, is a little bit bigger than my palm, right? So it's like, you know, about the size of my hand. And I put it to the left side of my paper. It doesn't really matter where you put it. I just think it's more convenient to have it to that side. The next thing I want you to do, I want you to draw a line from edge to edge of your circle. I'm going to draw mine from left to right. Right across the middle from left to right. Draw a line across your circle. And I want to indicate where the center of this circle is, so I want you to go ahead and draw a line from top to bottom or bottom to top, whatever way you draw better. And you want it to go right through the center of your circle. So right now I have a circle with 4 kind of equal wedges. My wedges on the bottom are a little bigger than my one on the top, okay? It's not going to be perfect. I totally understand that, and I'm okay with that. You're just getting a circle with a cross in it. Right now it's in 4 pieces. We want this to end up being in 12 pieces because we're going to turn this into a color wheel. So here's my trick to make 12 equal segments. I'm only going to worry about this wedge right here. So in this wedge, I want to divide this wedge up into thirds. So I kind of make a mark, and I try to hold my fingers to kind of the same size and try to see if it's about the same size. And I'm going to do that in each wedge. I'm going to try to make my wedges even so that it's 3 equal segments. And I'm doing this to all of my wedges. And if it's off a little bit, just fix it. That's how we're just making little marks to start with, and we're not drawing lines. So I have a circle with a cross in it, and in each wedge, I've divided it into 3 little segments by adding 2 little dots. Just 2. So by adding 2 little dots, that will help me divide it into 3 segments. So that'll leave me with 1, 2, 3 segments because I put 2 dots. Now, here's the challenge. I want to go through the center of this circle, right? X marks the spot. I want to go from this dot across the center to this dot. Now, it's not always going to line up perfectly with your dots. So you're going to kind of just do it so it looks right. But the most important thing is that you go right through the center of your circle. And I do better when I pull from top to bottom. So I'm going to go from top, I'm going to pull through the center, and go until I hit the other side. And notice how I'm not perfectly hitting my dot. That is okay. I just want to go from the dot through the center, somewhere close to my other dot. That one worked out really well. This one's going to work out pretty good too. You're just trying to make it so the center is pretty much lined up. Everything pretty much hits right in there. You know you've done a pretty good job if things are lining up there. You know you're perfect if you look at it and you can count 12 sections. If there are more or less than 12, then there's something that didn't quite go right. And I'm going to go ahead and label this color wheel. I think most of you probably know what a color wheel is. You may not be able to identify all the colors in order every time, but I think you pretty much, if you saw a color wheel, you go, hey, that's a color wheel. So what exactly is a color wheel?
A wheel of colors.
A wheel of colors, yeah.
Like negative and positive colors?
We have different names for them, but yeah. There's warm and cool colors. The cool thing about a color wheel, it's basically just a tool. So it's just another tool for your toolbox. So a color wheel, I'm going to go ahead and define it. If I want you to do that, or I want you to do that too, please. Color wheel. It's a tool for using color. A color wheel is a tool for using color. Now, a lot of people will argue, and they'll put the word artist in there. They'll say a tool that artists use for color, for arranging color, for talking about color. I disagree with that personally because it's not just for artists, it's for everyone, okay? So I have that kind of problem with saying it's just for artists. That sounds kind of elitist in my head, and maybe I'm taking it to a whole new level. It doesn't need to go, but I did, so there. So, color wheel. Let's get these colors in order. I like to start toward the top. It just makes sense to me. It's what I'm comfortable with. So the first color I tend to choose is red. So I'm going to write the word red in one of my wedges. Once you have a color identified on that color wheel, you can do everything now. I can label the whole thing based on that one color. What I'd like to do is go ahead and create what we call a triad. What shape do you think a triad is? Triangle, right? And it's going to be an equidistant triangle. So what that means is I'm going to skip 1, skip 2, skip 3, and in the fourth one, I'm going to write yellow. So I skipped 3, and in the fourth one, I wrote yellow. I'm going to skip 3, and in the fourth one, I'm going to write blue. If you did it right, you should have 3 blanks until you get to red. If that is a true statement, you can give yourself a little pat on the back. You're good. Now, I've already said a word that I didn't define, so I'm going to go ahead and write that word. Anywhere on the paper, I'm going to write that word triad. T-R-I-A-D. Triad. And we already defined it as a triangle, right? So a triad on a color wheel are 3 colors. We know it has to be 3 because tri means 3. So 3 colors.
Excuse me, did you say? Excuse me, stay here.
3 colors equidistant on color wheel. So the triad is 3 colors that are equidistant on the color wheel. So 3 colors that are the same space around. So the example we did was red, yellow, and blue. Anybody know what red, yellow, and blue, what that's called? Oh, I love you. Yes, primary. P-R-I-M-A-R-Y. Primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. Okay, you've been lied to. I think that people have been telling you, probably from the time you were like this big, that primary colors are colors that make all the other colors. Have you heard that before?
No.
If you've taken art before, you've heard it. Because I know they're teaching it even in kindergarten, they're teaching it. Because I've talked to your kindergarten teachers, and they've been saying it. You just probably forgot. Now, they also will say that you cannot make red. You cannot make blue. You cannot make yellow. Well, my question was always, especially when I was in school learning this, I'm like, wait, then how do I have red, blue, or yellow? Okay, to get the base colors, you're getting those from now synthetic sources, so they're making them manufactured, like factory colors. In the very, very beginning days, we're back in caveman, kill our food, eat, right, get berries, okay? Back in those days, you can't go to the store and buy stuff, right? So to get red, what do you think caveman's going to use? Berries, blood, yeah, right? That kind of stuff. They're going to grind rocks. To get blue, you're going to grind precious stones. You're going to mix it with eggs, and you're going to mix it with animal fats, and that's how you get those colors. Okay? That's how you get them. Now, with all that being said, so now I've explained how do you get red, yellow, and blue, right? Now we do it factory chemical processes. We don't have to go out and grind berries, okay? We don't have to go grind precious stones like lapis lazuli, that kind of thing. So, here's the lie. If I tell you that red, yellow, and blue make all the other colors, I'm kind of lying to you. Truth being, well, you're going to read it in books too. You're going to read it. You're going to see it. Have you guys ever heard of CMYK?
YMCA? What?
Cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. That's how graphics work, right? So if you look at a printer, a color printer, you're going to buy cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. You're not going to buy red, yellow, and blue. If you truly want colors that can make all the other colors, you need cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Just saying, okay? So I can't keep, propagating the idea that red, yellow, and blue are the colors going to make everything else. They're going to make most everything else, but not everything, okay? So just so you know, I've just ruined your life, right? Back to this wheel. If I take equal amounts of red and yellow, equal amounts, I get to here. What color I get? Red and yellow.
Orange.
Orange, you're right. See what I did there? If I take equal amounts of yellow and blue, what do I get? G thing, green. Now, here's where I'm going to flip you out. Don't say purple. I'm going to mix equal amounts of red and blue, and I'm going to get violet.
What's the difference?
Now, what is the difference? Why do I keep saying violet and not purple? Well, violet has more blue in it. Purple has more red in it. So then you're like, wait, that should be closer to red or closer to blue. True in between is closer to violet. Purple has too much red in it. It's a different color. So all these years you've said purple, again, they've been lying to you. It's really violet, okay? I know, your whole life, your whole life. So, we have these three new colors, and they're in between the reds and the yellows. If I add 1 and 1, what do I get? 1 plus 1 is 2. We call it secondary. Do you see the connection I just made there? Primary. Go to primary school. If you go to the premiere, you go to the first showing. So 1 primary plus 1 primary gets you a secondary. When I learned this, that's how I remembered it. It stuck. So I know that orange, green, and violet are my second colors that I get when I mix primaries equally. So secondary colors happen from equal mixing. Get that. You got that. Now there's all these spaces and gaps. It's like, it's only got half its spaces filled.
Let's say equal mixing.
Equal mixing of orange, or equal mixing of primaries gets you orange, green, and violet. All these colors, listen to this word, in between. The ones that are in between are called intermediate.
This is like preschool.
Right, this is way preschool stuff. See how simple they make this? So intermediate, we know there are 6 colors, so half the color wheel. And the other thing I want to tell you about it, the primary color is listed first. To make an intermediate color, it's unequal mixing of primaries. So to get an intermediate, you're going to mix more of one primary and less of the other. So an intermediate is going to be between all of your primaries and secondaries. So you know a really important fact. You're going to list the primary color first. So if I look at red, on each side of red, touching red, I'm going to write red again. So it's red, red, red. Look at that. Did I just blow your mind? It's red, red, red.
Yes.
But if it's closer to orange, I'm going to put some orange in there. So it's going to be red, orange. And the next one closer is violet, so it's going to be red violet. This is how I remembered it. This made sense to my head. Hopefully it makes sense to yours. So yellow is going to be yellow, yellow, yellow. This one's closer to this, so it's yellow green. And if it's closer to the orange, it's yellow orange. See, this isn't hard stuff. We can simplify. As long as you always put the primary first, you got it. Is there such a thing as violet blue? Yeah, there actually is a violet blue. It's a different color. Blue violet is what lives on the color wheel. There is an orange red. Yes, there is. It doesn't live on our color wheel though. These are the 12 colors you have to know for our color wheel. Okay? Alright. Primary, secondary, intermediate, triad, you have all those things. Here's the next thing. See what this? So the next thing I want to ask you, does anybody know what a complement color is? Something that complements. We're on this one going to say that opposites complement. White and black could potentially be a complement. If I say that we have a complement color, I'm going to tell you that it's the color across. So, I'm going to leave a little space. I'm going to write the word red. What color is directly across from red? Green. When I think of red and green, you know what I think of?
Christmas?
Absolutely Christmas. That's how I remember those two friends lived together. If I go to my next color, orange. If I take orange and I look straight across, I get blue. Is there a sports team you can think of that's orange and blue?
Gators.
Gators, Florida.
There you go. There's a reason they chose those colors. Yellow. If I go yellow straight across,
Blue.
I go up to violet. Do you know any sports teams that are yellow and purple?
Yeah, but I don't know the name. Yeah.
Vikings, Lakers. Are there any local schools?
What?
Powell?
West.
West? Okay.
Yellow and violet is not west.
No? I don't know.
No. West is purple.
They're purple? Well, gold and purple are really similar to yellow. So that's probably where they're getting the gold from. No, yellow is similar to gold. Did I? That's awesome. I'm so wrong. Isn't that great when your mind says one and your mouth says another? I'm going to put a label on the top of these. Red, orange, and yellow, those are all warm. And green, blue, and violet, they're cool. So, warm colors. They tend to make you think about warm things.
Fire.
So, fire, sun, summer, love, passion, right? Red tends to make people think about those things. Cool colors. They tend to make you think about ice, water, right? They make you feel calm. Warm colors are excitable. Woohoo! Yeah, yellow smile face. Happiness. Cool colors, right? Blues, greens, purples. They're sleepy, they're tired, they're tranquil. Okay? Sadness. Yes.
Deep depression.
Yes. So, what I want you to think about, you guys have full control. Come back to me. You guys have full control over your monster drawings of what colors you want to use, with the exception of the monster itself. Okay? So the monster itself, you have to stay true to that color of that monster. But the background, you're in total control over. So if you want to do a beach scene, and you put it in cool colors, what are you going to make people feel? Calm, sad, depressed. If you put it all in warm colors, what are they going to feel? Excited, happiness, right? So be smart about your colors. Now, I've got another one for you. Where do the rest of the colors fit? We haven't talked about brown. We haven't talked about tan. We haven't talked about black. We haven't talked about white. All of those are neutral. If I took a figure, so let's say I had a monster. I'm going to pick a monster that I see right here up the top. If I took this monster, isn't he exciting? If I put that monster in a red, orange, and yellow background, how are you going to feel?
Folly.
Like you're on fire. Like you're on fire, yeah. That's going to be intense. Because he's all red already, if I put him in blues and greens, it's going to tone it down some, but he's such a big, massive red thing. Now, here's the thing. If I put blacks, browns, grays, whites all around him,
That's gonna be boring.
he's going to stand out and be the only thing you look at, like a big zit on your paper.
Don't even mention
It's true, though, right? That's all you're going to look at. So neutral colors are going to make things stand out. Complement colors are going to make things stand out. So that's where we're going to kind of go for this. Okay.